15 years ago, during the turbulent end to the Korean War, the placid skies over Williams Air Force Base, Arizona, were rent by the howl of jet engines. 4 F-84 aircraft painted red, white, and blue rolled and looped over the audience below, always keeping their wingtips. This was the first show of the United States Air Force Air Demonstration Squadron, the Thunderbirds. Based at Luke Air Force Base near Phoenix, Arizona, the Thunderbirds had been created a month before to demonstrate to the people in the United States and overseas the capabilities of the men and machines of the United States Air Force. Needless to say, the Thunderbirds were representing in 1953 a very different Air Force from today's. As a separate service, the United States Air Force was only 6 years old. The hottest jet fighter then in action was still not capable of breaking the sound barrier in level flight. Well, the ranks of 5,000 spectators who watched that first air show in 1953 have been swelled to almost 70 million aviation enthusiasts from all of the 50 states and 40 countries of the free world. The largest single Thunderbird audience gathered in Chicago, Illinois, when on July 5th, 1959, 2 million people jammed the waterfront of Lake Michigan. The Thunderbirds have performed in 5 different aircraft. They began in the straight wing F-84 and in 1955 switched to a swept wing F-84. Both aircraft were built by Republic. The F-84s, however, were subsonic planes, and it was not until 1956 that the Thunderbirds could shatter the sound barrier with their new North American F-100s. With this new aircraft, the Thunderbirds moved to Nellis Air Force Base, Nevada. Transitioning, of course, meant a lot of work. On June 30th, the team performed the first show in the new aircraft at Portsmouth Air Force Base, New Hampshire. The audience, 150,000 spectators. By the end of 1956, they had performed 48 shows in the new aircraft, with a total audience since 1953 of over 10 million. The team retained the C-model Super Sabre until 1964. At that time, they transitioned to the Republic F-105 aircraft. This change further demonstrated the versatility and adaptability of the team to switch from one first-line jet fighter to another. The F-105 was only used part of the season. The team performed 6 shows in this aircraft and then returned to the F-100 for the last 5 months of 1964. In 11 deployments overseas, the Thunderbirds have demonstrated American friendship by meeting millions of people on a person-to-person basis. During the 1959 trip to the Far East, the team performed 31 shows during one 40-day period. After returning to the United States, they received the 1959 McKay Trophy, an annual award made for the most meritorious flight of the year. The team now flies an average of 100 air shows a year, making them the nation's busiest precision flying team. To reach the show sites located from coast to coast and even overseas, the Thunderbirds must cover 175,000 air miles in 250 days of travel. And now the F-4, incredibly swift, reliable, and particularly suited to this new role. For the first time in 13 years, the Thunderbirds have transitioned to a new aircraft, the Mach 2 McDonnell Douglas Phantom. On the 19th of April of 1969, after months of hard work and preparation, the team took delivery of 2 aircraft, numbers 1 and 3, ahead of schedule. Aircraft numbers 2 and 4 were delivered 6 days later, again ahead of schedule. The performance and versatility of the F-4 with its 2-engine reliability has added a new dimension to performances by the team. This aircraft has broken 15 speed, altitude, and time to climb world records. In fulfilling its mission, the team will once again provide the public with a first-hand look at the capabilities of a modern first-line jet fighter aircraft. Led by Colonel Joseph Moore, the formation includes Major Mac Angel on left wing, Major Doyle Ruff, right wing, and Major Stan Musser, slot pilot. Captain Mike Kirby is featured solo pilot, with Captain Tom Gibbs as narrator, Captain Hal Shelton, maintenance officer. Here, in one of the show maneuvers, the team performs a rollback to Arrowhead. A special onboard camera in the number 2 aircraft records a pilot's eye view of that maneuver. The first performance of the 1969 season was staged at the United States Air Force Academy. The performance, similar to that shown in this practice demonstration of the wing walk and roll, was distinguished by the presence of the nation's chief executive, President Richard M. Nixon, and the nation's first family. This generation of Thunderbirds performing in the McDonnell Douglas F-4 is perpetuating the fine tradition of earlier teams. We at McDonnell Douglas are particularly proud that the F-4 was chosen for use by the Thunderbirds, and we are honored to be a part of the team effort which produces performances like these.
This is the vast, open, and sprawling west of America, patiently shaped and molded over the ages by the mighty hand of nature. It has looked like this for thousands of years.
For 100 centuries before the white man set foot on the craggy rocks of New England, these vast and remote reaches were peopled by the red men. The great Indian nations who met the challenge of this environment and sometimes lived at peace with nature. But like all men, they feared nature, declaring natural calamities to be the works of their gods, especially thunder and lightning. For this, in the eyes of the red man, was the work of his great god, Thunderbird. When Thunderbird flashed his eyes, lightning was observed far and wide. And when he flapped his wings, thunder rolled across these limitless reaches. But generally, Thunderbird was a force for good over evil. The dream, of course, was always there, even then, to fly like the Thunderbird, to command the thunder and lightning.
Dream became reality. These are the Thunderbirds of today. 95 officers and enlisted men of the United States Air Force. Proud representatives of the Thunderbird legend and dedicated examples of the Air Force Thunderbird tradition. Moving through the skies in a fantastic aerial ballet, flashing man-made visual lightning with quick and easy grace, then calling forth the thunder. The Thunderbirds have moved spectators to describe this kind of aerial display as an art form. More than 2 decades, each succeeding team, each succeeding generation of Thunderbirds has dramatically evidenced the deep pride and dedication necessary to perform the mission assigned to this team of American airmen. To plan and present precision aerial maneuvers, exhibit air power and the flexibilities of modern tactical aircraft, as well as the high degree of professional skills required to operate high-performance aircraft. Each year, hundreds of applicants from throughout the United States Air Force vie for openings in this elite squadron. The Thunderbird selection process is painstaking and thorough.
We take a lot of time and a great deal of concentration and effort in our selection process. It takes about 3 months to narrow the field down from about 100 pilots who want to be on the team every year. We take a lot of time. We read their records and applications and get recommendations from various people who've worked with the applicants. We narrow them down to about 20 that we feel we can work with. But then after we've traveled with all of them, we sit down and have a powwow among ourselves and come up with 5 finalists. These finalists must be able to meet the public well. They must be good at public relations. And, of course, they must be outstanding pilots.
But flying the Thunder and Lightning is only a part of the Thunderbird legendary tradition. Here is the backbone of the Thunderbirds, the often unheralded maintenance and support personnel, the best in the United States Air Force. These are the dedicated professionals who have perpetuated one of the proudest Thunderbird records. Not one flight demonstration has ever been canceled because of maintenance difficulties.
That's right. And we trust them for many reasons. 1, they're the finest in the Air Force. 2, they have a dedicated, sincere interest in our mission. They can watch the aircraft take off, fly, and do its whole job and land right in front of them. It never leaves their sight. And 3, they fly in the airplane. And all 3 of these motivating factors are very important to their job performance.
This maintenance team is composed of all volunteers, like the pilots, and have competed with as many as 100 applicants for the right to wear the distinctive Thunderbird insignia. This experience in excellence, which is the Thunderbirds, is retained by each man for the rest of his life. Based deep in the heart of America's great Southwest, in the desert home of the legendary Thunderbird, the squadron flies to the corners of the earth, traveling as much as 100,000 miles in a single year. During a normal show season, the Thunderbirds perform more than 100 flight demonstrations before millions of spectators. Since first formed, the team has performed in all 50 states and 45 countries and has been seen by more than 100 million people. And for those who are unable to attend the flight demonstrations, the Thunderbirds invariably go to where such individuals are located. This includes hospitals, orphanages, and school classrooms. The team particularly enjoys this close association with young America, for the future history of our nation will be written by these youthful citizens. But the biggest thrill of all for both the public and the Thunderbird squadron is the flight demonstration. The show itself runs 30 minutes and features 5 Thunderbird pilots. 4 are in the diamond formation and take off together. The solo pilot plans his maneuvers to occur with split-second precision between those of the Diamond. Here's how the solo Thunderbird describes his job.
I demonstrate the tight, high-G turn radius of the airplane. I demonstrate the maximum rate rolls, low-altitude maneuvers, upside-down flying, right-side-up flying, all in a high-G environment. My job is to demonstrate the maximum performance capabilities of the airplane, whereas the Diamond's job is to demonstrate the beauty of precision formation aerobatics.
And this beauty of precision formation is largely the responsibility of the Thunderbird commander-leader.
The responsibility of consistency and the responsibility of maneuver symmetry is all blended together. You don't say, I'm responsible for these things. You just recognize that when you get in the airplane. So we give them our very best every show, and that's responsibility.
The Thunderbird slot pilot, who flies directly behind the leader and between the two wingmen, has some special responsibilities.
Watching the wingman doesn't help me to perform the maneuvers properly. But initially, I must admit that their aircraft in my periphery did draw my attention, and I would look at them periodically, either to watch what they were doing to make sure that I didn't hit them, or to look at them to check another reference as far as my positioning. As time moved on and I became more accustomed to the big picture, and I also gained this confidence in the fellows on either side of me, my attention moved from them more and more to the leader. I trust them to be there, and so therefore I don't have to devote any attention to them.
Exploiting the maximum performance of the McDonnell Douglas F-4 Phantom aircraft, the Thunderbird solo pilot roars in at minimum altitude for aileron rolls. One of the most spectacular and beautiful maneuvers executed by the Diamond Formation is a rollback to arrowhead. In this maneuver, the two wingmen roll back from the Diamond to fly wing position on the slot pilot. The maneuver is described by the Thunderbird left wing pilot.
The boss will call, let's go rollback. Ready? Now. He's establishing that so we're wings level inverted when we reach show center. The other wingman and I start up, and at our proper height above the flight, I call, and roll, at which time we both attempt to roll at the same rate, and we form back on the slot pilot. We're trying to be synchronized, trying to match one another. And the timing is something you can't really be mechanical about. We've got to continually try to establish a set rate, and we're working on a rate of separation as we come out of the roll.
With landing gear, flaps, and speed brakes extended, the Thunderbird solo pilot graphically shows his skillful handling of his 20-ton aircraft. With wings completely overlapped and separated vertically by less than 3 feet, moving as if guided by one hand, the Thunderbirds approach for the spectacular bomb burst.
Today, the centuries-old legend of Thunderbird is as lively as it ever was. This rich legacy and tradition are being nurtured and carried on by today's United States Air Force Thunderbirds. This legacy is in good hands. For once a Thunderbird, always a Thunderbird.
The United States Air Force Thunderbirds, professionalism and pride of performance. Ambassadors in blue, demonstrating American strength and goodwill throughout the world.
Today's aviation pathfinders, the United States Air Force Thunderbirds. What's it like being a member of this highly trained elite squadron? Here at Nellis Air Force Base, home of the Thunderbirds, we'll find out about this feeling of pride from Lieutenant Colonel Tom Swam, Thunderbird leader and squadron commander.
We can help you. All right, sir. Fine. Thank you. Good to see you. Let me tell you a little bit about the Thunderbirds. The mission of the U.S. Air Demonstration Squadron is a multiple one. Perhaps most obvious is that of portraying some of the capabilities of air power. Our aerial maneuvers are not a series of stunts or tricks designed merely to thrill an audience. They are maneuvers geared to demonstrate the capabilities of modern tactical fighter aircraft, precision formation flying, exploiting the aircraft's maximum performance. However, in addition to the flying aspects of the Thunderbird mission, there are other areas of equal importance. By performing both at military and public occasions, we are striving to stimulate favorable international attitudes and actions towards realizing the objectives of the United States of America. The importance of motivation and what part it plays in the Thunderbird mission also must not be overlooked. The Thunderbird style of precision flying is a team effort. Its purpose is to further Air Force recruiting programs by motivating the youth of America. Additionally, we attempt to further aerospace education of young and old alike by conducting an active public information program. We participate and explore every opportunity for direct contact with the public and all available information media. In accomplishing this mission, the Thunderbirds represent the skill and the dedication of nearly 1 million Air Force men and women stationed around the globe. But the best way to show you our business is in the air. We'll be having a briefing in a few minutes. You're welcome to attend. After that, we'll meet at the aircraft and we'll take a ride. See you then. Thunderbird 6. We got Doyle, 10 o'clock takeoff? Yes, sir. Michael, you got a picture?
Yes, sir. What time is it? Yeah. Okay, in 10 seconds it'll be 5-1.
Close. Right on. That's what's now on watch.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, hack. 5.
That's close.
Do it. Head up, go.
Okay, 10 o'clock takeoff. Let's start engines at 9:40.
Every man in this squadron is a serious, intent, professional airman.
Walk down.
In the 18-year history of the team, the Thunderbirds have performed in more than 40 nations before more than 85 million spectators. And now, we'll have an opportunity to ride in the back seat and experience for ourselves the delicate skills required of an Air Force Thunderbird.
Taxi formations we've got. If we have any questions on the emergency procedures, there's Mike. Does anybody have anything else? Okay, we're ready. Let's go. Okay, that looks good. Yellow pages. 05. Okay, you all set? Climb up in the back seat. Mike Cruciff here will help strap you in. How those straps feel? Those good and tight? Well, that's the way they're supposed to be.
Let's run them up. Taxi, turn left. Let's give them a 1 plus show. Lights out. Tail lights out. Fuel lights out. Check's complete. Are you all set back there? Here we go. Nose coming up. Right on up. Keep her coming. That's it, Tom. Bring her in tight. Looks good. How do you feel? Okay? We're in a little closer than usual. Looks real good. Back one. Back one more. Solo should be rolling pretty soon. There he comes. To the left now. Real fine. Little floating. Little pull. Let's keep this nice roll going. Right on around. How do you feel? Okay. Floating here. Right on around. Sliding left a bit. Let's put a nice bottom on it. Right on down. Still with us? Solo out. Let's make this a good one. Keep her together. Looks good. Right on around. Back around for the arrowhead roll. Smoke on, ready, now. Nose coming up, rolling left. Ready, now, right around. Keep her rolling, real fine. Beautiful. Try and keep your eye on number 5 going back. They'll be doing the 8-point roll. Floating here. Coming around. We're going to pull some G's. Okay, bottoming out now. Just keep her going. Thunderbirds, let's go roll back. Ready? Now. Let's make it straight. Real nice lineup. Looks good. Starting to pull. Keep it up. Bottoming out. Hold it. Okay. Smoke's on. Nose coming up. Straight up. Keep them tight. Stand by Got a break. Ready? Now. Coming up, 5. We're waiting for you. Coming up. Stand by for left pitch up. Ready? Now. It was a good show. Let's come up a bit more and Wedge Park.
Enjoying the flight? Good. I'll be back in a moment. There's a youngster over here I want to see. Thank you, Gary.
Ambassadors in blue, typifying American friendship and the quiet strength of confidence found in today's United States Air Force.
An assignment with the Thunderbirds is just one of the exciting and challenging opportunities open in today's Air Force.
In today's modern Air Force, there is no compromise with perfection. That perfection is brought to its fullest realization by the United States Air Force Thunderbirds.
In 1974, the Northrop T-38 Talon became the first aircraft used by the Thunderbirds that was not an operational fighter bomber. It was an advanced jet trainer. The small size of the Talon gave it excellent maneuverability and a faster turning rate between maneuvers. It was powered by twin GE J85 engines, enabling it to reach speeds in excess of 800 miles an hour. During a practice session on the morning of January 18, 1982, 4 pilots were killed when they crashed in formation, unable to bottom out of a loop. This ended the 1982 show season and marked the return in 1983 to an operational fighter aircraft. The aircraft selected was the General Dynamics F-16 Fighting Falcon.
A lot of people say wherever you go, you got to give 110%. Here you have to. It's a must. Perfectionism, professionalism, however you want to define it. Perfectionism becomes a habit with this team.
Through absolute dedication to attaining perfection, we try to keep climbing this hill. You never reach the top of the hill.
You have a career and you know what you do is important and you feel good about what you do. You just feel like you have, for once in your life, been part of something very special, and nobody can ever take that away from you.
The Thunderbird Squadron is composed of 150 approximately people, which involves both the 11 officers, of which 6 are pilots, and then about 130 to 135 enlisted men and women of the various specialties, representing all specialties within the Air Force. They have a very difficult challenge. We do not have the same number of people as a normal operational squadron would have. We're manned at a lower level. That's done intentionally. We find that we always want to have a challenge there. And it also gives them a more sense of belonging, more sense of accomplishment, because they have a bigger piece of the action.
I'm an air conditioning oxygen systems technician by trade, and for me to get a chance to work on one single aircraft that closely, to be that responsible for one man's life, just would really never happen in my career except here in the Thunderbirds. Cleaning is very important for the Thunderbirds because the cleaner the aircraft, the easier it is to see anything that might be wrong with it. New leaks, new cracks, anything that might have worked its way loose. You know, if you have it very, very clean, anything that worked its way loose would leave a very definite mark.
The maintenance crews have responsibility to the pilots, whether it's, you know, a 12-hour day, working 7 days a week. Whatever it takes to make those airplanes safe is whatever we do to put 6 good, safe airplanes in the sky for an air show.
When we get out to the springs, then we'll start off with a little bit of just lazy 8 wing work, where if you would maintain a position of a 5-foot wingtip. The essence of being a Thunderbird is, first of all, is an appreciation for being a part of a hand-picked organization that has a very definite job to do, to present to the American public capabilities of their machinery and their people. Now they're much slower than this guy. For the flyers, the actual performance begins in the briefing room. It begins with talking about what maneuvers we're going to fly for 2 reasons. One is for absolute discipline, and one is for absolute concentration. The level of concentration begins in the briefing room.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Your United States Air Force Thunderbirds restricting lead.
When we stand around out in front of the crowd, and there's what appears to be lighthearted humor and chit-chat, we're talking only because it's our own means of concentration. There's nothing being said. I mean, I'm talking to someone, but he's not listening because he's talking to someone else. That is each pilot's individual technique for going through the sequence in his mind. The next step in line is the march step. It is the next step up in concentration.
This sets the pace for the whole show. It just really gets us in the mood and keyed up for a precise air show.
Handshake in the cockpit is good luck, sir. Your airplane's ready. The crew chief says 1 minute, and that means that within 1 minute that airplane should be taxiing. There's constant communication during an air demonstration. You can just hear the way the voices sound, and you can feel the way the timing's working. The guys really sound happy. You can say, the boys are hot today. You're primarily concerned with being in the right spot at the right time, but you also rely on that other person next to you, and everybody is really what I consider to be a strong professional. That trust is very much there.
Any fighter pilot is going to feel a little bit of risk because we've all lost friends in this profession. It's not something that you dwell on. I think if you dwell on it in the air, you really couldn't do the job.
Nobody's perfect, but I think there's a certain sense of self-reward in knowing that you went out and did a good job, knowing that you went out and did the best that you could that day. You know in your heart whether or not you did a good job.
The General Dynamics F-16 Fighting Falcon is the U.S. Air Force's newest fighter aircraft. Since its introduction, the F-16 has made its mark as a true multi-role fighter, proving itself as a highly maneuverable aircraft in air-to-air combat, and earning its place as one of the world's best precision tactical bombers. Now serving at U.S. Air Force bases in the United States, West Germany, Japan, the Republic of Korea, and Spain, the Fighting Falcon is also being used by the Air National Guard and Air Force Reserve. In addition, the F-16 is on duty with the Air Forces of Belgium, Denmark, the Netherlands, Norway, Israel, Egypt, Pakistan, Venezuela, and Korea. The worldwide use of the F-16 has made it a mainstay of international tactical air forces. More than 1,100 Fighting Falcons have been produced at the General Dynamics Fort Worth, Texas facility. Under international co-production agreements, more than 380 F-16s have been produced in Belgium and the Netherlands. Its speed, Mach 2+. Its range, more than 550 nautical mile combat radius, more than 2,000 nautical miles ferry range with external tanks. The F-16 flies at more than 65,000 feet and has a rate of climb of more than 30,000 feet per minute. It's a small aircraft, 49 feet 6 inches long, including pitot tube, with a wingspan of 31 feet without missiles. Its height is 16 feet 8 inches. The F-16's weight is 16,500 pounds, including pilot, oil, 2 missiles, and a full load of 20-millimeter ammunition. 23,500 pounds with full internal fuel load. 35,400 pounds is the maximum gross weight. The propulsion system, one Pratt & Whitney F-100 PW200 afterburning turbofan engine in the 25,000-pound thrust class. The aircraft features a zero-altitude rocket-type pilot ejection system, high-visibility canopy, seat inclined at a 30-degree angle, control stick mounted on right console. The flight control system is a computer-controlled fly-by-wire system. The F-16's armament includes a fuselage-mounted multi-barrel 20-millimeter cannon and an air-to-air missile mounted on each wingtip. Additional weapons of various types, up to 15,000 pounds, can be carried on pylons mounted under the wings and on the fuselage centerline. Since joining the Thunderbirds, the F-16 has performed beyond expectations. The F-16 might be the United States Air Force's fighter that brings the red, white, and blue of the Thunderbirds into the 21st century. The proud Falcon has earned its colors as a true member of the Thunderbird team. We'd like to thank the Aladon Aviation Film Library and McDonnell Douglas Corporation for help on this project. This program is provided to aerospace education classes in selected high schools in California at no charge.